everyone, Sophie Lynn, and I have been asked by the people on this radio station to record one of my blog entries for their show, and I'm really excited about it. I've never done this before. My blog is Woman Called Sophie, and you'll find it on Blogger, which is part of Google. I actually have had two blogs. The first was on myspace.com. Yeah, it's that old. I've been doing it for 8 years. And that chronicled the very early days of my rediscovery up until a certain point. That certain point was when the MySpace blogs got kind of stupid, so I moved it to Blogger, and I've been there ever since. The Blogger ones, Woman Called Sophie, have chronicled my time from finding myself through a lot of challenges, some laughs, some heartbreaks, life, death. It can be political, it can be funny, and it can be sad. So, in any case, this entry chronicles a true, well, everything in my blog is true, unless I say otherwise. But I try to write from here. Occasionally I'll write from here, but it's rare. I write from my heart. This one happened last Friday, and I titled it happened on Walnut Street in Philadelphia, which is why I call it Incident on Walnut Street. So, what you need to know in the background is that I'm a trans woman. I have been transitioned full-time for almost 2 years, and that I work for a major bookstore chain, which I do not ever name in my blog, for many good reasons. But anyway, there you have it. Anyway, incident on Walnut Street. A manager at one of the other bookstores in our chain passed away this week. Friday, February 5th was her viewing and funeral. A call for volunteers to staff the store went out among all the other stores in the district. They needed a lot of staff as it was a city store. One of the positions required was head cashier, which is my position. I volunteered to help, so of course I got paid, and it sounded like fun. So on Friday afternoon, I drove into Center City, Philadelphia, where the store is located. The store is a large one, 3 stories in a ritzy area next to Rittenhouse Square. There was a bit of traffic coming in, but I still made it relatively on time. The shift was fun. The only real bump was an old Rastafarian guy who was bothering one of the Philly store staff. As our store has no security, I spoke up saying, "I'm her boss, she has work to do, would you kindly leave her alone?" I said it more forcefully than that. He came over to my register and started asking me some pretty strange questions. He was either demented or high. At that point, the security guard came over and escorted him out. This store had a guard! Yay! The shift ended, and we all parted ways. I met many wonderful people from many stores. In many ways, it was an all-star team. Anyway, the store manager at my store had told me earlier that her brother ran a bar near the store called Tinto. I thought I'd go over and see the place. Now, the 2 women from my store who had also volunteered couldn't accompany me, as they already had plans. They're both in their 20s and single. So I walked the 3 blocks to the bar alone without an issue. The door people were young and gorgeous. I texted my roomie and bestie Linda, "Life isn't fair," which is usually what we say to each other when we see a gorgeous woman. And in my blog, I have a picture of one of these gorgeous young women. I went to the bar area, but the bar manager's brother was not working that night. "But we have 2 other bartenders on tonight, and they're just as hot as he is," as one of the door people said. I had a glass of wine, and I left. That's when things became dangerous. Sidebar. I went to Drexel University in Philadelphia for 2 years. Drexel is in West Philly, in a rough neighborhood in the city, Powelton Village. I was mugged there a few times. I learned never to go anywhere alone, if possible. And that's when I was young, in shape, and supposedly male. While there, I learned a few tricks to keep people from attacking. Anyway, I started walking south on 20th Street when I noticed a tall guy start walking in my direction behind me. He was taller than me, and most of his face was obscured by a hood and scarf. As I walked south, I noticed another man emerge from an alley to my right. He was also taller than me, hooded and scarfed. He joined the other man maybe 20 yards behind me. I was a woman walking in the city all alone, and I was being followed. I crossed Walnut Street and headed east across toward the parking lot next to the bookstore. So did they. So I jaywalked back across Walnut Street. So did they. Then I remembered the trick taught to me by one of my fraternity brothers at Drexel. If you think you're being followed, you turn, put your hand in your pocket like you're going for a gun, and face them. Well, I was only wearing a loose sweater over my dress. However, I did have a purse on my right arm. So I turned to face the two men. I set my feet shoulder width apart and put my left hand in my bag while looking one of the men directly in the eye. I glared at him, trying to look fierce. Grrr. The men stopped, maybe 20 feet from me. They had been gaining on me. They turned and without a word walked back on Walnut Street. They turned right on 20th and I lost sight of them. I was so relieved. I turned back to walk the remaining half a block to my car, to the parking lot, retrieved my car, and drove home. Now, in my blog, I have a map of this. So, if you want to see a very crude map, it's on my blog, Woman Named Sophie. So, there was a time I would have turned and charged at the two men, looking for the fight and somewhere deep inside, hoping to die. But those days are long gone. Besides, I was wearing a dress and I didn't want to get a run in my pantyhose. But seriously, I was really scared. I just wanted to go home and get some sleep, as I had to work in the morning. Well, now I'm back at the apartment, typing up this story while it's fresh in my mind. Ladies, don't be stupid like me. Don't walk alone in the city at night. I was lucky. Those two were looking for an easy target. Very lucky. I'm going to go to bed now and try to get some sleep. Be well. And that's the end of the entry. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope maybe it can help somebody. Once again, my blog is Woman Named Sophie, and I want to thank the folks here at this radio station for inviting me to do this. Sophie Lynn saying,